All right, so we got to go back to the 4% rule. Has some new folks challenging my take on the 4% rule, and it's let's hit this again. So I've hit it a million times this Sunday, but you know, people come and go. I get it. So here's how. So a guy was adamant that the 4% rule was proven as if it's science. All right, so first, and he used a Bill Bengen study from 1994. All right, so this drives me up the wall. Bill Bengen, good. I mean, hey, I got no qualm with the guy personally. He ran studies using, I think it's 60% S&P 500, 40% 10-year Treasury, if memory serves, going back to I don't know if it was 26 or 1930, I can't remember. But anyway, be it as it may. He ran these numbers and he came up with that the safe withdrawal rate, which is what the 4% rule is, the safe withdrawal rate, where you never ran out of money in that time frame from basically, we'll just say 1926 and 1994 when it first came out, was 4%. All right, so Trinity out of San Antonio did a study, I think it was in 97. They pretty much confirmed that. Good boy, Pablo. Let me pick up some poopy here. I think their study was like 4.4. All right, well, these are ancient studies in the overall scheme of things now. And I think Trinity came out with 4.4 simply because they added international stocks or small caps or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, be it as it may. All right, so that was a safe withdrawal rate. That proves nothing. That proves nothing in the future of what's happening, especially because of a couple things. Hey, first and foremost, that did not use the 2000, the aughts, which was devastating, which would never have been looked at in the context of the 4% rule or the Trinity study. All right, woo, that stinks, buddy. Man, alive, but he's doing it. So someone told me that if your dog is backed up, give him some pumpkin. I didn't have to do that because Pablo quickly became unbacked up. All right, so that was before the aughts. That is also with Treasury bonds being significantly higher than they are now, all right? And so Treasury bonds are not at, 10-year Treasury is not at 4.5 to 5%, it's at 0.65 right now. All right, so then Wade Pfau, Blanchett, and a couple other guys did studies. They said, given the current bond rate is about 3.2% of what would be the safe withdrawal rate. All right, I'm still going to challenge. There's two reasons to challenge it still, though, and I'll share that in a second. All right, so given the current interest rates that we have on 10-year Treasury, actually, I think that was even before the 10-year Treasury fell below 1. They were saying 3.2. Wade had just written an article about 2.4% now with the coronavirus factor. You know, you can make an argument higher valuations on the, like using the Shiller Cape would reduce the safe withdrawal rate. Low yields, higher valuations on stocks. Higher valuations just means more expensive. There's all kinds of ifs, ands, and buts here. So the 4%, 4.4, we'll just say the 4% rule was valid under that one circumstance. That's it. Doesn't prove, it's not science. It's not gravity, man. It just says our observed observations, right? We observe this, says that the empirical evidence, that's all it means, observed. We observed the data of the past, and this is what we came out to. All right, so you factor in higher valuations if you want, you factor in lower yields if you want. All right, you can do all that. I frankly don't care, because the challenge on the 4% rule is simply the safe withdrawal rate. That was the highest amount you could take without running out of money in a 30-year period. What the flippin' do, man? I mean, it's okay. So you're going to sit there and say, as long as I never take more than 4% a year out, I can never run out of money. Oh, okay, well, that's great. But that also means you're leaving a hell of a lot on the table if you don't happen to retire in 1930 or 1966. I mean, my goodness, man. Who wants to freaking live like a pauper so the kids could live like freaking millionaires? It doesn't make sense. So you're sitting there saying, okay, I'm only going to take 4% a year out because Bill Bengen in 1994 did this study. That's just freaking stupid. That's stupid. Because the average withdrawal rate, where I think actually we can even say the median was like 6% or something like that. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but it's around 6%. Where 50% of the time you ran out of money, 50% of the time you didn't. It was like 6%. So that's a 50% increase in the 4% rule. The 4% rule is just the one time you did not run out of money, the max. Why would you want to live like that? Especially for 30, it's actually 33 years, but I'm sitting there thinking the vast majority of people who are 65 years old are not going to live until they're 95, first and foremost. We know that. We know they're not going to live that long, A, all right? B, that is also the safe withdrawal rate that says as long as we did this, we did not run out of money. Ooh. Hey, morning. Hey, what's up, pumpkin? Haven't seen you guys for a long time. Oh boy, come on, Pablo. We got a dog. Is that Bella, right? Hey, Bella. Oh, well, come on, Pablo. See you later. Come on, Pablo. All right, so we know the 4% rule says you don't run out of money as long as you take a safe withdrawal rate of 4%. Wow, great. But now you're freaking dying with millions of dollars. Wow, you really did good. And that's if you die at 30 years later, which you won't, most likely. All right, on top of that, that assumes that your spending goes up with inflation every year. Why would you make that assumption? The numbers are 100% against that. All the evidence shows the other. All of it. There's not one speck of evidence that shows people, or maybe there's one speck, the vast majority of the evidence from the BLS with the Consumer Expenditure Survey, from the University of Michigan, they have studies, from Health and Human Services, the vast majority of studies show that as people age, their spending goes down. They don't consume as much. But Josh, healthcare, healthcare starts at such a low amount relative to everything else. Healthcare, even though it does increase, yes, and I'm even using 5.5% of my software now, because it starts so low, a 5.5% increase isn't anything relative to what everything else is, discretionary, home and whatnot. It's just not that of an issue. It's just not. In fact, in my course, I talk about this explicitly. The rising cost of healthcare is not as significant as what people claim it is because it starts so low. Oh, it's just proportionality, my friends. Put it into proper proportions. All right, so we know the vast majority of people aren't going to live until they're 95, i.e. 30 years of retirement. The vast majority of people are not going to spend each and every year more adjusted with inflation. We know that. We know that to be true. Their expenditures go down, not up, and go down significantly. All right, so we established those premises. I don't think they could be debated. I mean, you could debate them, sure. I think you could be wrong. All right, on top of that, we know the safe withdrawal rate is the maximum amount you could take for 30 years without having run out of money. 4% was what Bengen said. 4.4 is what Trinity said. That was back in the 90s. All right, wow. If you're really going to look at this and say 4% is what I'm going to go on because Bengen said that, you better adjust your stuff downwards, man. 10-year Treasury is not 4.5 to 5%, brother. 10-year Treasury is down, again, less than 100 basis points, significantly less than 100 basis points. So if you're going to use this as your maximum you can withdraw and live on safely, and you're using an antiquated study, I suggest that you think again. But why would you do that? Why would you even do that? Why not say, look, spending goes down. I'm not going to live till I'm 95. On top of that, I know that the safe withdrawal rate, while nice to know about, is literally the safe withdrawal rate. I want to spend more. I'm willing to take a little bit more risk. Thus, go ahead and spend more than 4% a year. 5% is what I tell people. If you want to go up and take a little bit more aggressive, 6%, fine. Just recognize there's going to be some risk, and you better do some belt tighten if the markets go kaput. Is that it? That's it. All right, we'll see you guys.